today I want to share with you a very easy, simple, but delicious recipe. It is my vegan queso and it only requires a few ingredients. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with 2 medium to small size russet potatoes. You can use pretty much any potato that you'd like. I wouldn't recommend sweet or anything with a dark colored inside, because that will make your queso end up a weird color and we don't really want that. You don't need to cut them super well. We're just looking at, super simple. Put those into a pot. Honestly, you can cut them way larger or way smaller. Obviously, the smaller the piece, the faster it's going to cook. The reason that we're using russet, I personally like it because russet potatoes have a high starch content, which you'll see once they're blended on high speed, it creates this like stretchy effect. And it's similar to adding something like tapioca starch. Not as extreme, obviously, but it's kind of like adding like a cornstarch or a tapioca starch. It's going to help thicken. It's also going to make it nice and stretchy, which is really cool. Here I have some cashews. These are actually roasted and salted. This is not normally what I like to use. I prefer a raw unsalted cashew, but we are in the midst of a lockdown and it's been kind of hard for me to find some things that I normally use. So making the best of it. And I'm thinking maybe this will just add like an extra level of flavor, like a toasty flavor almost. So I'm gonna put that in here and add about, let's see, I have 3 cups of water in here. Let's see if we need all of it. About 2 cups of water is all that you're gonna need. I'm going to add some salt. Always salt your water. It's important. I think it's important to salt every layer of your dish. Okay, so now this is gonna go on the stove. I'm gonna boil it just until the potatoes get soft. It's gonna take maybe 10 minutes, maybe. Okay, so while our potatoes are boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and dice up this jalapeno. I actually have 2 here. One side was getting a little wilty on both of them, so I just decided to cut them in half and use it as if I was using one whole jalapeno. Now, you can save as many or as few seeds as you would like. So I am not going to be using all of the seeds. I'm a little bit of a baby, and we do end up adding hot sauce into this recipe. So if you like really spicy stuff, be my guest and keep all of the seeds in. I'm not that brave, so I'm going to just be putting those off to the side. Okay, so honestly, you can use a can of Rotel or diced tomatoes and chilies. Once again, it's been hard for me to find certain ingredients that I normally use, so I'm just making do with what I have. I've done this recipe with raw tomatoes and cut them up. I've done it with this, which is diced canned tomatoes. Couldn't find any diced chilies where I was, so in order to not make more trips than you need to, I already had fresh jalapeno, so I'm just dicing this. You can cook it if you want. I kind of like the raw flavor, so I'm going to just put this in raw, and you're gonna put it in while the mixture is still really hot, so it is gonna cook some. Also, if you're not great at cutting, like, don't even worry about it. This is going to go into the blender. It's not going to be pureed, but it is going to be pulsed, so it doesn't really matter if these are perfect. Don't stress out about it. Keep in mind when working with jalapenos or chilies, whatever, Wash your hands really well. We're supposed to be washing our hands really well anyway right now, but yeah, this stuff will burn if it gets in your eyes or elsewhere, so please be careful. Don't be silly. Okay, so now we have our tomatoes and jalapeños, and that's gonna be like the last thing that goes into the blender, but I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm gonna go check on our potatoes. The potatoes are coming along nicely. It's starting to boil, so it shouldn't be too much longer. I love potatoes for a lot of reasons, but one of the big ones is how fast they are to prepare, so that's exciting. I wanted to take a second and talk a little bit about the spices that I have going on here. I'm pretty sure most of you, vegan or not, will have the majority of these. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about if you're new to the vegan game or just wanting to try things out, or you have an allergy or whatever. Lupin, stop it. Stop it. My cat. Okay, so what I have here, don't know if you can see, this is nutritional yeast. It is not like baking yeast. It's not like brewer's yeast. It is a flaky, cheesy, umami. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's fortified, so it has a lot of nutrients that most people are deficient in, so it's kind of nice. And it gives your, whatever you're making, a nice, rich, cheesy flavor. So that is gonna be one of the main ingredients in our queso. I wouldn't skip it. If you don't like nutritional yeast, I know some people don't. Like, you do you. If you want to skip it, I would recommend putting some miso paste in replacement. That's going to give it a nice tangy umami flavor. However, miso is really high in sodium. So if you're doing that, be sure you're tasting as you go, because a lot of these components, like our diced tomatoes, our potatoes already have salt in them. Our Valentina has salt, so just taste as you go. Make sure that you're not over salting, because you can't take away salt. You can always add salt. So I have 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of Mexican oregano. I have 2 teaspoons garlic powder and 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And then I have 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Then this is 1/2 of an ounce of Valentina. You can use whatever hot sauce you like. I just happen to have a huge thing of Valentina that I got at Aldi like 2 years ago. So I'm trying to go through that. I know a lot of people use Cholula. You do you, whatever you like. Or if you want it to be more mild, leave the hot sauce out. You don't have to have the hot sauce. I just think it adds A, a nice color, and B, just a really good flavor. So like I said, you do you, whatever you want. It's your queso. If you know you don't like something, don't put it in the blender. Just don't do it. It's your kitchen. You do what you want, but don't blame me for not tasting good because you didn't put the stuff in it that I said. Okay, that seriously took 5 minutes to boil the potatoes. They are soft. I did the fork test. That's just where you take a fork, you poke the potato. If it goes in, it's done. It's so easy. Okay, I'm going to strain because I want to know how much water I'm actually putting into the blender. Okay. Have some cashews left over in here. Let's just take care of that. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to take the hot potatoes and cashews, just put them in my blender. Oh, I lost a cashew. Don't throw away your liquid. Just like when you're making pasta, this is liquid gold. We don't want to throw away our boiling liquid. This has a ton of starch left over from boiling the potatoes. So if we take that and throw it away and then just add regular water, it's not going to be the same. So reserve this. We're gonna need some of it. I'm gonna go ahead and put my nutritional yeast. This is 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Okay. We've got our garlic powder and our onion powder. We're gonna put that in. Our smoked paprika and our chili powder. It's already smelling so good. And then our cumin. I like to save the Mexican oregano for last because if you blend it right now, it's going to just go away. The flavor will be there, but I like to see it. So I'm gonna save that for last. Then we'll go ahead and put our hot sauce. Now, we're gonna start the blending process. We're gonna absolutely need water, but I'm just gonna start getting it broken up a little bit. Okay. Looks like weird mashed potatoes. I'm gonna start with a 1/2 cup of the reserved liquid. I know that I'm gonna need more than that. I'm gonna go ahead and do a full cup. Keep in mind that the tomato mixture also has liquid, so we don't want to go crazy with the liquid up front and then add our tomatoes and chilies and it be soup. We don't want soup. We want thick queso. All right. Okay, I can tell that I need more liquid. Hello. That's Cara. She's very talkative. We might actually use all of the reserved liquid. Down the sides a little bit. I have some spices that have congregated up here. It's getting so stretchy. And I haven't added any salt yet. I like to taste it first so that I can gauge how much needs to be added. Like I said, you can always add more salt. You can't take it away. That's something I've had to learn over the years. I wanted to say something about blenders. I love my Vitamix. I don't get paid to say that, obviously, because I have like 1 follower. So it's important to have a high-powered blender for a recipe like this. If you don't have one, it's going to be a little chunky. It'll still taste good, but it's not going to be like a stretchy, smooth queso. Do whatever you want though. I also wanted to say, when it comes to high-powered blenders, it's important to start on the lowest setting and move your way up to high. Don't turn it on and off on high. There are gears that connect under here, and if you do that, you're gonna end up stripping them, and then you're gonna have a worthless blender because it's not gonna be able to catch. So treat your blender well. I've had this one for 4 or 5 years, and I love it, and I've treated it like I love it, and so it's lasted me. It's definitely worth the purchase if you're gonna take care of it. That's all. gosh, it's so pretty. This is where I'm going to go ahead and add my Mexican oregano. Oh my gosh. And my chilies and tomato. We don't want these blended until they're smooth. We just want them to be a little bit more fine than they were when we put them in. We don't want to go crazy with this step. So feel free to use the pulse setting. Let me go get a tasting spoon. Okay, I know we're gonna definitely need to add salt. I just need to know how much salt we need to add. Surprisingly, we don't need that much salt. Probably because we used so much with the potatoes. This is maybe a 1/4 teaspoon per little scoop. Yep, that's it. And here you have it. It is vegan queso, super easy, so yummy. This is what I take to like every party or potluck, and it always gets requested, so. Well, there you have it. Super easy vegan queso. I think anyone can make this, and I would love to see pictures if you do try to. So please tag me at Riddle Kitchen on Instagram and Facebook, or message me on my website, which is myriddlekitchen.com. Enjoy! Oh, my cat's eating too.